I think we can both agree that there are so many farming games to play in 2023. So I thought it's time to share my 10 out of 10 farming games that any lover of the genre must play. The rules are simple, early access games are not allowed in here, and these games are generally ones that I found trying to do something new and captured my heart in some type of way. Hello you gorgeous human being, it's Miss Bubbles. Remember, these are my top 10 farming games. Yours are probably gonna be different, so let me know your favorites down in the comment section. I'm pretty sure this pick won't surprise anybody, but my reason for having Stardew Valley on this list is probably different from yours. Picture this, as a kid, I used to adore farming and slice of life sims, but as I grew older, I kinda just got bullied out of gaming in school, and with that I lost touch with farming games. While Witcher 3 sparked my love for RPGs, Stardew Valley on the Nintendo Switch reminded me that I used to adore the farming genre. So since 2017, my gaming life changed for the better because of getting introduced to this farming masterpiece. Here I was playing on my handheld device as I was looking for breaks from studying and somehow thought that virtual chores would be the better option. Well, of course they are. In Stardew Valley, you get the story of being sick of city life and you decide to go to a rural area, inherit your grandpa's farm, and work on it. The beauty of this game is how you start with very little, a bit of money, a few turnip seeds, and this massive town full of magic and charm that won't be uncovered for you unless you want to explore it yourself. From planting crops, fishing, mining, raising barn animals, crafting machines, and more, you'll also unlock a community center, which is perfect for any completionist out there. This will drive you to make use of every season and weather condition to make sure you forage, harvest, cook, and create the various requirements to get rewards in return. But your farm life doesn't stop here. The cast of characters and romanceable NPCs makes your stay even better. This game set my beginner, let's say, standard of how NPCs should be in farming games. So the closer you get to them through giving them gifts and celebrating their birthdays, the more secrets they're willing to share with you. And to top it all off, the sound effects are so satisfying, the music is so relaxing, and I just found myself investing hours and hours into my gameplay sessions and adored every moment of it. Oh, and if you're playing on PC, you probably know that there are so many freaking mods that can actually add a ton more content to the game, even though the vanilla version already has a lot for you to dig in. Now here's one that I just don't know why people don't talk about it, and I was so surprised by how creative and innovative it was. Kinseed offers you an aesthetically pleasing life sim sandbox RPG. Usually in these games, we play as one character, and no matter how many years pass by, we rarely see changes like, let's say, a death or birth. I'm talking in terms of the other characters in the world. I'm not talking about your own character having a child. But Kinseed is okay with bringing the element of a family tree into play, where you start as a young kid living on their uncle's farm, but then you kind of make a deal with someone. I'm trying to stay spoiler free, and that gives you the ability to start up your own legacy. So when your character gets older and dies, your kids actually take over. But what I like the most about Kinseed is the plethora of businesses and life paths that you can take. So if you want to run your own blacksmith, goods store, or even apothecary, you absolutely can. You also have this massive map to explore, full of dark mysteries roaming around, and as you do, you get to experience the typical farming mechanics like fishing, raising animals, and planting crops, but you'll also forge better weapons and take part in real-time reactive combat and enjoy different minigames when crafting. And let's not forget about the goddesses and how making sacrifices to them will drastically change your gameplay experience. I can probably go on and on about Kinseed and how much of a breath of fresh air it was, and it doesn't mind shocking you with its plot twists while also giving you amazing gameplay mechanics. All I'll say, I really love this game. I really hope it makes it to the Switch, and if you've been considering playing it, definitely do. While we're talking about these more dark-ish farming games, what could be darker than a farming sim that is all about burying bodies and managing a graveyard? Graveyard Keeper is a graveyard management game where your actions will come back to bite you in your butt because there's an ethical system implemented here. And while the tone is dark, the game doesn't take take itself too seriously, so if you're into dark humor, this is probably the game for you. It's set in the medieval times, and even things like the time and season are different from your typical farming games. In terms of gameplay mechanics, you have this town to visit and buy different resources to craft, but you also have plenty of quests to complete, corpses to deal with however you see fit, festivals to take part in, and dungeons to explore, as well as villagers to meet, but also maybe impact them with the irrational decisions that you make. The game has also seen some DLC releases, but I haven't played any, so if you played any of them and you would suggest me one, drop it down in the comment section. I remember playing My Time at Portia through its early access and being completely obsessed with it. My little sister is usually very fascinated with the new games that I'm playing, but when it was my Time at Portia phase, she would walk into my room and be like, "Can we just stop? Are you okay?" When it came out, the graphics looked so cute and different from the games that I was used to playing in the genre. But what added to that extra oomph is the emphasis on the use of machinery and complex ways to build various blueprints, all while you're engaging in a fun journey in a town called Portia. Here you're responsible for the typical farming and harvesting, but it takes it up a notch by introducing you to commissions to make sure you experience the intricate crafting system. And while some things will take forever to make because of the massive amounts of resources that it will need, it always left me satisfied every time I managed to pull through and craft something difficult. Also, the importance placed on meeting the different townsfolk was fun to see because you can marry different people, but the journey to get there is pretty fun, where you can go on dates to get to know them better. Plus, I really enjoyed the ruin system in this game, so instead of your typical mining mechanics where you just go to a cave and mine for ores, here you go inside these caves and use your goggles to find different discs, as well as different parts that you can donate to the museum. And we can't forget about the combat and the RPG elements, where you're given the choice to choose between different points and where you want to allocate them in your skill tree. So you're pretty much tailoring your abilities to fit your playstyle. After this, I started to play My Time at Sandrock. You can check my before you buy in the pinned comment section if you want to know what I think about it so far, but I can tell the more that I'm playing it, the more I'm falling in love with it, and it kinda may replace My Time at Portia when it goes into full release. Now let's take it back to the 3DS. You know that we celebrate the 3DS on this channel, and let me share with you my favorite farming game on there. Story of Seasons Tree of Towns is so relaxing to play, yet it still manages to be complex when it needs to be. So you're trying to prove to your dad that your idea to become a farmer is actually a good one. So here you are on this farm that happens to be in the middle between 3 other towns. Each one of them is different and unique, and your job is to try and build a connection between all of them. You'll be growing crops, raising barn animals, getting new pets, customizing your house, fishing, enjoying different festivals, and meeting very likable bachelors and bachelorettes. You can also get part-time jobs, which are kind of like chores that you can complete for others, and this will not only earn you money, but it will also increase your relationship with them. But the best part will always be exploring these different towns. Marvel has put so much love and attention into creating the different cultures between them, so even in 2023, I believe this is a must-play farming sim on the 3DS. It's time for our bubbly shoutout of the day, and you can become one yourself. All you have to do is squish the like button and leave a comment down below. And the shoutout goes to Galien. I don't know if I said that correctly, but they say, "I'm behind on my watch list, but glad to see that you have some more of the non-live videos again." I'm definitely happy to be back, to be honest. I think I'll wait for a sale or find it secondhand. Thanks for the review. They were talking about Trinity Trigger. Definitely so happy to be back here making videos, and thank you for your support. And now let's go back to our 10 out of 10 farming games. If you're like me and you love to have some life management elements in your farming sims, then Grow Song of the Evertree should be right up your alley. I booted it up a couple of months ago on stream, and I kept gushing about how cute the graphics look. It probably reminds you of Yonder as well, and that's because it's by the same developers, Prideful Sloth. I really enjoyed my time with this one, and I keep going back to it because there's there's just so much to do and not enough time. Not only are you trying to help restore the Evertree through your power of singing, but you also have a town to customize and add shops to. Then you can choose people to move in and give them different jobs based on what they like and the dreams that they have. You will also find yourself visiting different worlds that feel so magical and meeting creatures that are so adorable, including your mount, which you can feed and take care of. Grow Song of the Evertree really brings a different take on farming because, again, you're responsible for so many different things and there's so much creativity given to you as well as a fun story to uncover. And I think you can see a trend in today's list. All my picks revolve around a farming game that breaks the typical repetitive activities and it gives you something new to add to the fun factor. My experience with Littlewood started off in the weirdest way, and I've shared this experience on my channel a few times. I've seen a trend on Steam a couple of times, but every time I looked at the screenshots, I was just like, nope, not for me, I don't like the graphics. Back then, the most I could tolerate in terms of pixel art was something like Stardew Valley. However, once I got my Switch, I saw it on sale, and I was like, you know what? Just let me try it, and I'm so happy that I did. Here you play as this hero after the world went through a great catastrophe, but you really don't remember saving the world. So you're going to fix this town, bring it back to its former glory by building new houses and having new residents move in. You also have new shops to add and you can literally decorate everything. Even your residents' houses can be decorated and they each have a list of things that they wish to have in their house. Of course, you can also farm, fish, forage, explore, and go on quests. And what I like here is that the time of day moves as you use up your stamina. So if you're not, let's say, fishing, breaking rocks, or chopping trees, then the time of day is not gonna move. Additionally, you have plenty of fun areas to go to and explore and so many characters to become friends with. And if you're like me and think, how is this game going to be any fun? Like it just looks bare bones and boring. Trust me, it's gonna surprise you and you're going to have a really hard time putting it down and going back to doing your chores of the day. Here's one that I am currently obsessed with and it's becoming a weekly ritual for me to play with my friend Josh from Josh's Gaming Garden. Sunhaven has come a long way since I last played it in early access and I've been thinking about it non-stop and so eager to play it whenever I can. This game brings together magic and farming to give you an experience that is like no other. Plus, you're in this massive story that is unfolding and it's you trying to save the world while also dealing with freaking dragons. While at first it may overwhelm you because you have not one, not two, but 3 massive towns to explore and live in, but you also have a sheer amount of things to craft. Slowly, and if you're playing with a friend, things will become easier as you adjust to its gameplay. There's also 15 romanceable NPCs, plenty of townsfolk to meet, fun festivals to enjoy, lots of combat to take part in, and a fun skill tree where you can dedicate different points to whichever skill that suits you best. Sunhaven never fails to give you new content, and even when you finish the story, you still have so many things to craft and different ways to decorate your house to your heart's content. And if that's not enough, you can play with up to 8 friends, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, I cannot recommend Sunhaven enough. It's had multiple mentions on the channel and it's having a Switch release very soon and I cannot wait for that. There was no way I would make this list without mentioning the amazing Spiritfarer. This game has won the hearts of many and I actually refuse to finish it. I have this thing where I just cannot complete a game if I get too attached to it and if I just don't want the journey to end, and this is one of them. Here you play as Stella as you happen to be a fairy master to the deceased. So you are building this massive ship which you can customize however you want, and you're getting these animals to be on your boat as you help them complete unfinished business to move on to their afterlife. You'll need farming because your new friends still want food and they're pretty picky about the stuff that they like, but the beauty here is the massive amount of areas that you get to visit using your ship, which allows you to expand the variety of items that you can harvest, cook, fish, mine, and craft. The animations are so beautiful and the story here is so touching, and I actually have a problem dealing with the death of my loved ones, and I feel like this game has been slowly helping me to get a little bit more, I don't know, I don't want to say accustomed to that, but just it's a way to help you with grieving and mourning. But I will say this game is pretty heavy, it's very touching, it will make you cry, so if you're not in the mood of of that, this game might not be the one for you. Rune Factory 5 100% makes this list, and I feel like this game came at the right time while everything was going wrong in my life, and I just got very attached to it. So while many complain about the rough performance on the Switch, I decided to give the devs a pass on this one, and it was actually very playable for me. Rune Factory 5 starts you with the typical, oh, I have amnesia, but oh, here I am going to save the world. So you join the Seed organization and get to set off on this massive semi-open world. If you love more complex farming mechanics, you got it here. There are different variables to consider under the crop stats, plus you also get to farm on the backs of these majestic farm dragons. Not only that, but you also set on journeys of fighting monsters, which you can also tame to either ride or have on your ranch to give you valuable resources. Add to that a massive set of skills that you can become better at, like even taking a bath is a freaking skill here. So expect to work on getting better weapons and gear, accessing different crafting stations to create plenty of items, as well as customizing your house. However, my favorite part here was getting to know the townsfolk. There's a wide range of bachelors and bachelorettes that you can get to meet, but also the other people in the town are very nice and fun to get to know. In my opinion, Rune Factory 5, and I've said it before, is better than 4 just because of how the questing system works and how wonderful the characters actually are. If you know me, then you know how much I adore Dragon Quest Builders 2, and I refuse to keep seeing farming lists not include this game in them. Like, no, I'm already changing it on my channel and I'm gonna keep doing it until more and more people play it and realize how much of a freaking epic game this is. This one captured my heart in the best way possible and is yet another one that I refuse to finish unless Square Enix very kindly announces a new one. Where do I even start to convince you how awesome this game is? Yes, you can farm, but there are so many more other things that you can do. Not only are you part of this massive story that is unfolding and you get to take part in awesome boss battles, not only are the graphics and character design extremely adorable, not only are you able to play with friends and customize an entire world however you want to, but your creativity is everything in this game. You can build so many different room types and craft endless amounts of items. This block building sandbox does such an amazing job where even traversing this massive world is fun. You can swim, dash, glide, and climb your way through it all. The sky's the limit, and Square had no problem going crazy innovative, so can you imagine how much greater Dragon Quest Builders 3 would be? Just like we manifested fantasy life into coming into this world, I think we can do the same for Dragon Quest Builders 3. Please, let's do it. But enough about me. What is your 10 out of 10 farming games? Let me know down in the comment section, and squish the like button if you enjoyed this video. Stay bubbly, stay positive, and I'll see your gorgeous, beautiful, amazing self in the next one. Bye! Every single video on this channel is brought to you by my amazing Bubbly Club, my Patreon, and my YouTube members. You can become one as well by checking the links down in the comment section for amazing perks and also making sure that we can keep going with this channel. And a special shout out goes to the Game Dimension, Faye, Jacob, Stephanie Steven, Dark One, and Jake Logan for going the extra mile. Thank you guys so much.